You know what's been really refreshing? The Samsung Galaxy Watch 9. Because at around $379, it is of course Samsung's cheaper option, but it doesn't feel cheap. In fact, it feels pretty amazing. It performs like a flagship, it's feature packed, and whilst I'm not going to pretend that it's better than the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2, it might very well be the more sensible choice. And so far, since charging the Galaxy Watch 9 to 100%, it's actually outpaced the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2, at least on its first run, with almost identical usage, possibly even fair to say, a little bit heavier. The first full charge for the Watch 9 to 100% was on the 5th of August. I went about my daily routine, got a GPS run in there, just over 5k. I then checked it the following day at 10:45 AM and it was sitting at just 20%. But the watch then proceeded to make it all the way up until 10 PM. This gives us a total from its first run of 37 hours and 15 minutes, which is approximately 2.68% of battery drain per hour. And you know, this is really good because Samsung are actually claiming 30 to 40 hours of battery life officially, and we're already on the top end of that. More importantly, this was with no battery saving features on at all, no health tracking features turned off, always on display on, and the watch is still calibrating for maximum battery efficiency. And this is pretty incredible because the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 on its first run actually lasted a little bit less than my Galaxy Watch 9 in the end. Things have already changed pretty drastically since I wrote the initial reviews for both of these smartwatches, so do make sure you subscribe for the follow-up reviews. But in a nutshell, I'm actually really impressed with the Galaxy Watch 9's battery life, at least from initial tests. And it's worth remembering it's only had a very tiny bump since the Galaxy Watch 8. The Galaxy Watch 8 had a 435 mAh, and this has got a 445 mAh battery. The fact that most of you are going to be getting around 2 days of battery life without having to turn any features off is pretty impressive. That being said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Charging on the Galaxy Watch 9 is somewhat problematic from my initial tests. At the moment, I'm seeing the exact same issues as the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 on the Galaxy Watch 9. Samsung state up to 10-watt charging, but no matter what I try, whatever I plug it into, using the charger that it came with, I'm not getting that 10-watt charging that Samsung states. In fact, I'm very rarely seeing it go over 5, and more often than not, it's sitting at 2 or below. If my Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 test that I've got going at the moment is anything to go by, this could be a serious issue for Samsung's latest smartwatches. Spoiler alert, my Ultra 2 has been charging for over 4 hours. For the Galaxy Watch 9, the official charging figures are coming out at around 90 minutes for a full charge, but for my first charge with the Galaxy Watch 9, I was getting just over 2 hours. I'm not at the point where I can conclusively say this is broken or this is a problem because we've got much more testing to do, but so far I'm a little bit worried. That all being said, if we compare the Galaxy Watch 9 to the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2, based off my initial testing, the Galaxy Watch 9 is charging at the very least twice as fast as the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2. And whilst we're talking about the Galaxy Watch 9's little quirks, I do want to jump straight into accuracy and have a little whinge about something that I've not really seen other people talk about much yet. Now, in general, I want to be very clear that I've actually found the Galaxy Watch 9 to be absolutely identical to the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 when I went for a run in terms of GPS, heart rate, calories burnt, etc, etc. It's all brilliant, and being a runner, I'm very familiar with my heart rate zones, and I genuinely think it was absolutely spot on. But one thing that Samsung still hasn't fixed yet is phantom steps. Now, I decided to note down my steps at the start of a car journey and at the end, and you can see that it's registered several hundred steps whilst I was driving. It's of course not the end of the world, but what doesn't make sense for me is that we've got this deep integration with Google and lots of Galaxy AI stuff going on in the background, which is smart enough to know where you've parked your car. Why can't Samsung have a feature that simply detects when you're driving and doesn't register steps in between? The infrastructure for this feature is already there. Why aren't they using it? Now, I appreciate that was a lot of whinging, but there are genuinely a lot of good things to say about the Galaxy Watch 9, and at the top of that list is actually the performance. It's absolutely blown me away this year. And you know what's blown me away even more is that this Galaxy Watch 9 has the exact same Snapdragon Wear Elite processor as the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 at around about half the price. That means zero compromise on performance. You're getting the very same performance on a much cheaper watch. And I'm just gonna say, after years of testing Samsung's Galaxy Watches, this is the smoothest smartwatch that Samsung has ever put out. That, and when you pair it with the new One UI 9 refresh, I mean, it really gets top marks for me. It's got that Apple premium feeling, but without the whole overcomplicated UI that comes with it. There is also more important stuff going on under the hood of the Galaxy Watch 9. Alongside that Snapdragon chip, we've also got a dedicated onboard NPU now, which gives you things like that raise to talk gesture for Gemini and onboard processing that makes use of Galaxy AI on your phone, but also does some of the bits locally on the smartwatch. It is a proper high-end software and hardware experience that, as I said in my Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 review, has continued on to the whole setup of these watches. And we should also talk about the design of the Galaxy Watch 9 this year. Now, whilst I show you the unboxing, you might be wanting to say, well, Alex, it looks exactly the same as the Galaxy Watch 8. And that's because it is. It's pretty much identical. Whilst I've got nothing bad to say about the design this year, Samsung have done a little bit of an Apple this year and not really changed much. All of the changes with the Galaxy Watch 9 kind of sit under the hood. That being said, we can always argue if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Squircle design didn't really land with a lot of people, but I don't really mind it all that much. I think that it sort of honors Samsung's roots, and like I say, it doesn't feel like a cheap smartwatch in the slightest. You've got two physical buttons on the side, a pretty high-end metal finish, and then we've also got a bunch of new watch straps this year. And I did one thing that I never ever do, and I bought one of Samsung's official watch straps. Don't do that. Complete waste of money. Get yourself some third-party ones. They're cheaper and generally, in my opinion, better quality too. So I'm going to link a few that definitely work with the Galaxy Watch 9 in the pinned comment below. Also worth noting, if you did have a Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, those straps actually work on the Galaxy Watch 9 as well. So if you are moving from that for whatever reason, don't throw your straps away. Now, compared to the Ultra 2, there are obviously big differences here. There's no static bezel, for example. You are missing that third button, which I absolutely love on the Ultra, but you are getting a much thinner and arguably much more comfortable smartwatch. Now, although there's nothing really new in terms of design on the Galaxy Watch 9 this year, here's what is new. And I think the first thing that I want to talk about is the display. Now, it is the very same 3000 nits of brightness as we had on the Galaxy Watch 8, but Samsung has made some subtle improvements to the actual panel. So this year, the Galaxy Watch 9 is going to appear a little bit more punchy, a little bit more vibrant, and overall, it's just going to look a little bit more high-end. And you can really see the difference, even comparing it to the first generation Galaxy Watch Ultra. It does have a little bit more pop to it, which I'm really appreciating. And to be honest, 3000 nits of brightness is probably the sweet spot. A lot of us will argue that the 5000 nits on the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 is a little bit too much and might just be eating battery unnecessarily. Aside from that hardware change, there's also been a lot of software changes and a lot of new health features actually, and one of the most prominent ones is the new hearing health feature. Now, it's great that it's there, but for me personally, I just can't really think of a way that I can apply this to my real life. So let me know in the comment section, can you think of a genuine use case for the hearing health feature? Or do you think it's just a massive battery drain? Whilst I'll admit I'm unsure about the hearing health feature, there is a lot of other features to look forward to as well. We've got the new fitness index, which uses all of the metrics the Galaxy Watch 9 is taking and then gives you comprehensive charts on essentially what you're good at and what needs work. You can see that mine's highlighted cardio at nearly 100% for me, but it's also given me a score of 23 for strength because I've just not been going to the gym. For me, the fitness index is a really great implementation this year and one that I really appreciate. It's one of those things that you can get really competitive with yourself, but you can also use Samsung to actually help you reach your goals. So you can actually set targets in the fitness index as well. I think it's a really, really clever idea and a really great way to make use of all of this data that your Galaxy Watch is taking on you. On top of that, we've also got the new Vitals feature. Again, it's a sort of feature that takes into account all of the data that your Galaxy Watch is taking and sort of organizes it for you in a way that's actually helpful. This is a great example of Samsung being really broad with their smartwatches, and it's something that competitors really struggle to keep up with. Samsung has definitely got one of the best health suites, in my opinion, out of any smartwatch on the market. Now, for the Vitals feature to work, you will need to get a couple of days of sleep tracking under your belt, but it will show you your respiratory rate, your blood oxygen, and much more. And there is also another new feature, which is the heart health tab. Now, this again takes into account a little bit of everything and also leans heavily on your sleep data, which is a really important point actually, because if you're buying a Galaxy Watch 9 this year, a lot of these metrics need your sleep data to really work. So make sure that if you are buying this, you are prepared to be going to sleep with it every single night, because I think it's really, really important. It's almost not worth getting it if you're not going to sleep with it on at night. The next new feature is the daily cardio load. Now, I'm a really keen runner, and after using both the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 and the Galaxy Watch 9, I'm just not sure if it's a little bit too strict. It seems to jump around quite a lot. Most days, if I just do a 5 to 6K, it'll say that I'm under target for the day. But then if I go for a 10K or more, it'll say that I'm massively over. So there's a very small margin there where it goes from one extreme to the other. I don't know if it's one of those features that needs a little bit of time to get used to you and your routine. But right now, although I really appreciate the feature as a runner, I'm a little bit hesitant about it. Now, the health features aren't the only thing that are new. We've also got more hardware changes. We've got Bluetooth 6.0, which is actually really important. It means you can move away from your phone a little bit more, but also it's going to be much more efficient on your battery life as well. And whilst it's not a new feature, we do also have a great selection of One UI 9 watch faces this year. I've already shown them off in my Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 video, so I'm not going to show them one by one, but I do really like the default watch face that the Galaxy Watch 9 comes with. It's got a really nice bit of depth to it. It looks really premium, and also at the same time pretty minimal as well. You are of course not limited to the new One UI 9 watch faces. You can of course go and get yourself some third-party watch faces, or you can go back in time and use some of the One UI 8 or even 7 watch faces that are still on the Galaxy Wear app. So is the Galaxy Watch 9 actually worth it? Should you go out and buy one? Well, look, although I do like the design, it's very samey. It looks exactly the same as the Galaxy Watch 8, and it's arguably actually a little bit lazy from Samsung. However, I do think that that brightness boost, the brilliant first impressions of the battery life, and the general performance of the watch in its first week have made it a very easy recommendation already. Arguably easier to recommend than the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 due to the much lower price point. And that doesn't mean that I don't like the Ultra 2. In fact, that is going to be my smartwatch for the next 12 months. It's just for most people, I think the Galaxy Watch 9 might be the more sensible choice. When you see my Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 review, you'll see exactly why I think that. So click in the top corner now to go to that, and I will see you over there.